Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald Barrington Robinson and friends, seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. With us, we have Miss Jackie Williams.
Hello, everyone.
Mr. Henry Hatter.
Hi, Jackie. Ron. Good to be here.
Thank you. And welcome you to all our millions of viewers worldwide. Let's talk about sexual harassment. The Harvey Weinstein multimillionaire saga. This man is a serial rapist. He offered women millions of dollars to not expose him. But now many are being accused of sexual misdeeds. I think the curtain still hasn't been unveiled yet, but sexual harassment is not just with people with money. It's pervasive all over. Look at not too long ago, and still going on. Look at all the Catholic priests that have been exposed. All right, for the same deeds. Look at the mothers and fathers and boyfriends and sisters and brothers that have been exposed for doing the same thing. It's nothing new. Okay, in our society or world society, it's been around for since the beginning of time, more or less. That's not to excuse the unexcusable, but it's a fact of life. We just have to find a way to educate people that this is not proper and it's not moral. Jackie?
This is a very big subject, especially right now where it's running rampant in the newspapers and online. It's just very sad because as a young child, I remember people saying, make sure that you educate yourself so you don't have to use other things to get elevations. And I was a young child. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. But as I got older, I see people at jobs where instead of using your skills, you're trying to impress the boss on what you might have on. So I want to make sure that we understand that both sides' hands are not clean. Because as an employee, when you work somewhere, you need to go to work and you need to go with the skills that they hired you to do. Your hidden skills, whatever, keep them in the closet where they belong. It doesn't belong in the workplace. It doesn't belong on the field. It doesn't belong in sports. It doesn't belong in politics. It doesn't belong. And so what I have seen over the past couple of weeks is that people have been hiding all of these acts. And I mean, they're just not small acts. I'm talking, one actress said that Weinstein came into her room and he raped her repeatedly and told her that if she ever told anybody that he would have her killed. So, when you have power, you can misuse your power sexually, politically, financially. You can misuse it in so many different ways. But when you use your power and you take someone's worth, that's different, because they tell you all the time, I've never been a rape victim, but I've listened to people who have been raped, and the first thing they tell you is you don't feel worthy. You don't feel the same. It's because somebody has taken something from you that you didn't give them. And that means it robs you of a layer. We're layered up. We have layers of emotions. And when somebody violates you and they steal and rob that layer, that changes who you are. That can pull some other characteristics that's not even in you out. And this is what this is doing. This is robbing people the opportunities to use their real skills at work to get roles versus having to do acts that you're ashamed of. And it's not fair that you can hold that leverage. And there has been very small repercussions behind all of this. It's just a quick smack on the wrist. We're talking about it right now, but this has been going on for eons and nothing has happened, because if the president of the United States can say something so vulgar like he said they love his attention, and so he just goes up and does stuff to them, that is a violation from the top to the bottom. I don't care what your position is, you still need to respect and honor the person that is sitting by you, working with you, working for you, live by you. You need to respect them, period. And it doesn't give you privileges just because you have a couple of dollars.
And also, again, to hitchhike off of what you were saying, the President of the United States has also been accused of sexual violations. Henry, I know you have some thoughts.
Jackie, I want you to educate me on something. Now, there are different kinds of harassment, right? Mm-hmm. There is sexual harassment of one kind. There's harassment of another kind. We're focusing here on only sexual harassment, right?
Right.
Now, sometimes it's, to me, kind of dubious when people jump on the bandwagon to just do what other people say happened, but having no experience in the whole situation. But see the dollar bill signs, particularly from a rich person. And Weinstein, I believe, is a guilty person.
Right.
But I don't know whether he's guilty of all of the circumstances that face him. And this is why people must sort through, get the facts, so that what is discovered is worthwhile listening to.
And you bring up a very good point, because the damage, because once you put that on someone, the damage is done. So regardless to if it was only 10 cases and you had 15 or 20 reported, it looks worse than what it is, and you can never go back and clear that, regardless.
And Jackie, the other part of this harassment thing, the worst kind of disgusting harassment I know of, if this applies, is affecting children.
Yes.
Is that the same kind of harassment?
Yeah,
Could we
because
consider that
this is what they consider when the teacher is dating the student. They call that sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Because, and it's sad, but it has increased over the years where women are leaving their jobs. I don't know if it's so much of the men. I think we had one case last year where the guy left his family or whatever for the little girl and took off. But women are leaving their families and they're pursuing relationships with young boys, and they're impregnating them, and they're going to prison and they're still contacting them. We are destroying our children with our authority, because you can abuse your authority with sexual harassment. Because I'm the teacher and I want to please you, people have to understand how people see authority. If I see authority as my mother taught me, you respect authority. So when you say that to your child, you're telling them to respect who's in charge. But we also have a responsibility being in charge. We want to make sure we don't abuse our privilege and make them do things that will not make them happy or that will hurt them later.
Yeah, another thing, Jackie, I have never had an experience where someone wanted to sexually harass me. Never a woman. And maybe I don't deserve that.
Well, wait. I'm trying not to get you, Henry, but you just set that up.
But please,
you know my mind. I can't let it go.
I've
you
never,
said not
no
a woman,
woman has
but
ever
is there,
tried
is
that.
there a man on the books?
A woman has never tried to sexually abuse.
Okay.
I may have dreamed of it at one time, but it's just never happened. So I don't have these experiences, so I don't talk with any kind of credibility here about that, because I've never had that experience.
But you have compassion.
Yeah, but one of the things, the most disgusting type, as I said before, was harassing a child. I'll never forget people like that. I'm like humanity. Humanity will never forgive you for an act like that.
Because you're robbing their
God forgives you, but humanity will never forgive. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have been sexually harassed, and I have never given into it. I don't need to confess. I got 10 people that I need to, I'm just a strong-willed person. And what I tell my young ladies that I mentor, I tell them that you have to know your worth. And you have to know where people really, their guidelines and their rules are. And you have to know that you can go to somebody and you can let them know what's going on. You do not have to compromise yourself. You do not have to accept this behavior. You do not have to, I don't care what you look like. You can, you could be the beautiful princess, or you could be the sister who's at home cleaning the floors. It doesn't matter. Your worth is your worth.
But Jackie, this is today. But let's take a look, and this is rampant, as you said. Well, this kind of behavior is rampant today. But let's go back 50 years ago, or 100 years ago. Choose your time. And ask. These were times when families were together. Most men and women lived in families. And families guarded that honor between wife and spouse, right? And the likelihood of it happening in those days rapidly, in your opinion, is it more or less?
I think it happened. It's just not recorded.
Hang on now. Hold it. We have marriage vows here. And
what does that have to do with it?
Well, we have to believe in something.
Well, I'm saying you can believe in your marriage vows, but you also can have a flesh out of control. So
okay, but this is flesh not in control.
Yeah, that's right. That's
okay,
right.
Now what about when we were families? Did that happen much?
Mm-hmm.
Did people dare?
It was called the forgiving mother. I can tell you the story.
Mm-hmm.
I forgive you. You can come home, and then they'll have another kid.
But I don't see that.
That's what happened. That's what happened because my grandmother told me the story, and she said back in those
sexual
days,
harassment.
whatever it is, you didn't break up the family because their family values were huge. They didn't break because you didn't have divorce and stuff like it is now. So you didn't have a lot of single people either because people were married at a very young age. 13.
And they will kill you for coming into their bedrooms.
That's what
that was the danger.
Right.
Yeah.
So they protected.
You think it happened more or less? That was my question.
I think it probably happened less, but what it is that you don't have social
no
media.
excuses.
No, you don't have social media. Just like people think that news is more now, it's not. It's more accessible because now you get it on your news feed, you get it on your TV 24 hours a day, you get it on the radio, you get it in your car.
So you're saying there's no hope? We should not do anything?
No,
because
I'm not
this
saying
thing
there's
is
no
out of
hope. I'm just
shape.
saying
Let's let it go.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
That means that this has been a problem that we have swept up under the rug for years and we have not addressed it. Now it's coming out, and I hope we don't just give it a band-aid. I hope we punish the people that need to be punished. If they need to be go to prison, they need to go to prison.
I agree with you, but I think past years when people lived as families that didn't happen as much. I believe that because there was a gun by the doorway. And people would shoot you.
Because they guarded their values. They guarded their values. We don't guard our values anymore because we allow half-naked women to be on our TVs 24 hours a day.
Okay.
And
cultural.
And so what it is even though we have allowed them to be on the TV, it still doesn't give you permission to violate them. But I would say to the women, I'm a woman, I would say to them, they say you can't provoke somebody. Yes, you can. If I am a lonely individual and I feel like I'm entitled and I come to work every day and I have everything hanging out, the only thing hanging in is few things, you know what I'm saying? You don't know, everybody is not as strong as everybody else. So that's why we have to, even the Bible tells us that we're supposed to be dressing in moderation. We're supposed to,
I agree.
Modesty is what we're supposed to do because we're not, and that's why, that's one, and I know I'm getting ready to run on something. That's why the Muslims cover their wives up. Did you know that?
They protect
them because you can't lust after them because you don't see them.
No.
You understand? They only can undress at home where the husband is there. But in the public, you cannot look at their bodies. You can't do any of that because they're covered up.
But in the Arabic world, they kill for that kind of molestation.
Because that's
right?
a violent. They are strong with those rules.
Sharia law.
That's right. That's right.
And you think that's good?
No, I just think that we need to have the same value
for
system women.
Yeah.
But our women need to understand where, of course, men are going to allow you to take it off.
We would never have any children if you didn't have this lust in men.
Well, no.
Goodness.
or if you didn't take it off.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying
Stop and
is,
think about how
but
nature made us.
But when you go outside,
Yeah.
there should be a certain. I mean,
Yeah.
they talk about it when you go pick up your kids.
Mm-hmm.
You should not have everything hanging out. And now the new thing is pajamas. People are wearing pajamas 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Stuff jumping all over the. I mean, I don't know how anything is able to stand still in grocery stores because somebody's wearing any underwear. Everybody's jumping all over the place. You know what I mean? So what it is we need to go back and look at our value system.
Yes.
And I mean, because we have to make sure that our hands are clean. We have to look at our value system. That's just like if you were to go into prison with all men, and which I do ministry for men. I mean, I go to the, male prison, and when I go in there, you better know I am dressed to the top. Because even a little leg get out, they be like, is that a little leg? You know what I mean? So you understand what you're faced with. You understand what I'm saying? So I have a responsibility as well as a man. To cover
and the
myself.
chastity belt fits on the outside of your suit.
But what I'm saying is we have to understand that there is reaction to what we do.
Yes.
I mean, but we can be proactive by putting our clothes back on. And setting our standard a little higher. Exactly. You don't have to wear the shortest dress in the world. As they say, a barbed wire fence. Which one is more attractive? The one that you can see everything or the one that you just can imagine?
And that helps to drive molestation, which we need to consider as we are thinking about solutions for this.
Right.
Overly exposed bodies.
Yeah.
That when people are in that lustful state, they think dark thoughts.
And all you're doing is you're adding to it.
Yes.
And people say, well, I'm not adding. Yes, you are adding to it. If I'm hungry and you're going to eat your full meal in front of me, I'm going to attack you because I'm hungry. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's the same thing sexually. If I'm sexually hungry and you're just throwing it at me.
Yes.
But I'm saying in those cases, now they weren't throwing it at them. They had to give it up because they were losing job roles. And they said in Hollywood, a lot of women, they didn't audition in front of anyone. They auditioned behind the scenes.
Jackie, what would you tell the average young man from the age of, should I go 9 or 10 or up to 35? What would you tell them how to behave in circumstances where you see overexposed women?
You have to learn how to control you. No one can control you like you can. You know what your triggers are. You have to know what your triggers are. You know if you are, how they say, if you are...
That sounds good, but that's hard to do.
No, because you have to know what your triggers are. I mean, because I know what I like. You know what I'm saying? I know Satan isn't going to give me anything that I don't like. He know exactly what I like, and he know I like a light-skinned man with some pretty eyes. That's what I like, and that's how my husband looked. Thank you very much. But I'm saying that's what I like. So when you are tempted with something, it's not going to be something that you don't like. It's going to be something that you desire. You might like a woman with some nice legs. That's what's going to be in front of you. But you have to have self-control. You have to have self-control because you have to understand that there is two sides. There's a side where you cross, and then there's a penalty. And this is what we don't do. We don't look at the full picture. And you need to look at the full picture because there's a penalty when you cross the line. When she tell you, I don't care how cute she is, and she tells you she doesn't want to be bothered with you, you better build you a bridge and get over it, or you might cause yourself to get a case. And you don't want to have to register in every state that you go to that you can't control yourself.
This is just not a woman's thing, or a male's thing, all right? Because flip the script. There's a lot of women lust after men.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But they don't get charged like women do.
Maybe it just hasn't come to light as it is with men so much.
And when men don't mind it either.
Well, they filed less charges because they talked about the strip club and stuff like that. They said that you'd be surprised at how many men that women rape.
Yeah.
But they just don't file as many charges.
You can't believe. I don't believe it because it doesn't. I've never had the experience where women
I am
rape
so
me.
sorry that you have no experience. I don't know what to tell
What about you,
Go to the
Ron?
strip club, Henry.
Ron?
Well, I don't want your friends to see you there, Henry, because they might see, well, they can't see you, they're not there. But anyway, we have to change our value system. This is what it equals to. We have to change our value system. When we decided that it's okay to show everything that is possible to show, we open doors that we don't want to deal with. And this is a conversation that needs to be had, because so many people don't want to talk about it. But you need to talk about it, because when you start dressing in these, everybody is showing everything. Beyonce, I don't think I've ever seen her in a full pair of pants, because she always wear like a onesie, or I call it a onesie for an adult.
Tights and
Yeah. So
onesies.
and one time she got caught up in a crowd. Did you hear about that? And he wouldn't let go. See, you have to be careful with that. You
And
know what I'm
Jackie,
saying?
I agree with you. We should not make this look like it's women that we're attacking women because it's all their fault either.
Right.
And
No.
men, like you say, are
Yeah.
guilty of it, and Weinstein is one of them.
Yeah.
And if he did attack women under these circumstances, he was wrong and should be handled legally for that.
But and the sad part is, they said they knew about it. Just like all the people. I mean, let's go back. Let's go back to CNN. No, not CNN. Fox. What's his name? O'Reilly.
Yes.
They said they knew about all of these people in top management, knew about all these sexual harassments that O'Reilly had.
Miss Ailes.
They knew about all of these, but they pushed it up under the rug. Why? Because the justice system is not set up for everyone. And that's where we need to really push our Congress to tell them, instead of Sessions running around trying to figure out who he can prosecute, why don't you prosecute people that need to be prosecuted? Like those people who never had charges. And that's what they were trying to go back to find out. If these things are being reported, how in the world did they not have any cases? They have no cases. Did you know that? There is no cases.
But Jackie, I do think that things will get better as we move into the future. You're getting more females elected to the bench, more females
But
to
you have more
Congress.
accountability factors, because you don't know who has a cell phone. You don't know who's recording stuff. I mean, the media is just, it's everywhere. So you don't know who's listening. You don't know who's pulling files. You see how they released all those files. So people are doing things differently. They're being more aggressive differently. And yes, more women are speaking up and telling them that you don't have to take this on your job. If somebody is saying things that are inappropriate to you, or you're saying inappropriate things to them, you need to stop.
But we need to assure the American people that things are getting better.
Yeah, they are.
You're getting more
better.
women.
Because women are coming into, because they're electing
But we
more
want our
women.
women to be truthful and fair and give us substance.
And that's a good point, Henry, because women, when you go out and you accuse these men, like what's his name, the fighter, Tyson. Tyson was he was convicted, and it was a date, and then you came back later and said that you made it up. He went and did prison time for you not telling the truth. And so this is where we have to hold the bag of truth, and we have to understand that we can destroy somebody with a lie, and we have to be fair.
And can I add, this is my final comment. What is really sad is this happened between 1865 to about 1960, when men of color was blamed for having all of these illicit relationships with white women
And hung.
and died and were killed or
Falsely.
hung.
And butchered.
Yeah.
And pulled
They
apart.
That's the
fall.
sad thing.
They took the fall for all of these crimes. That's why a lot of people are being let out. They're being let out on DNA. They've been convicted of rape, and now they find out you had no type of evidence. But these people have.
But that's a sad thing as I look back over the
Isn't
history.
it?
How I feel sorry for people who went through
I mean,
that.
because you can't give him 35 years in prison back. I don't care how much
Or
money.
to give their lives back.
And
Yeah.
riots have
Or the dignity.
And riots have started on an accusation. All right, look at this boy from Chicago. Okay, that
Emmett
butchered
Till.
in Mississippi. Because he just people claimed that he looked at a white woman. All right?
That was Emmett Till.
I know Emmett Till. All right, look at the Greensboro boys. All right, they went to prison for years and over over a lie. I mean, but to say go with what you're saying, you know, when you get accused of stuff like that, that's a life sentence.
And they should be convicted as well. And I will say this, women, you should be convicted as well, because I've seen, what was that one lady that got robbed and she set it up and she said it was a black man in a hoodie.
Oh, in Connecticut or
Yeah,
someplace.
people who do things like that, they should be convicted and they should do time, because you are ruining someone else's life. And that cannot be, you know, you can't take that lightly. You know, and this is why, as you know, Henry and as Ronald has expressed about all the people that have did prison time for stuff they had nothing to do with, this is why people say that we need justice in America. This is why, because when you start unfolding all of these things, and now that it's happening to, you know, other people, now it's a big deal. See, but we've been doing prison time for rapes we didn't commit and sexual harassment we had nothing to do with, because our word wasn't good enough. So we need justice in all places. In these cases, in all cases, we need justice for all races. And this is what we have. Until we unify, we are not going to do better. We cannot be divided, because we can be conquered that way. We have to unify and we have to stand up for what's right. Or, as people in the NFL, sit down for what's right.
Exactly. And also, with the 30 seconds we have left, all right, the prosecutors need to be prosecuted for withholding information when they know doggone well that individual, whether male or female, is innocent. They have the proof. Why should somebody have to languish in prison for years, all right, on a lie? Then prosecutors ought to go to prison themselves. This has been a wonderful, a great conversation. I'm going to thank our great co-hosts and our technical crew. This is Ronald Barrington Robinson for the In My Opinion show. Until next time, stay focused.